Hi, everyone. Welcome to AC Day 1. It's now the afternoon, so I do see some familiar faces and names who have joined us for some of the programming that we had this morning. It would be great if you haven't done so already to ensure that you are muted just through the presentation. It would be great to be muted, but we encourage you to have your camera on because we want to see you, we want to connect with you, and this is the start of the fall term, so welcome. So I'll give everyone a second just to ensure that you are muted. And if you haven't done so already, there's also a chat function. So I believe it's along the bottom left, it might be for you, the chat box. So feel free to open that chat box. And if you have any questions, especially any technical difficulties that you're experiencing, feel free to throw that in the chat box there as well. And our event facilitators will be able to assist you. And my name is Bonnie. I'm the special events coordinator here at Algonquin. So hello again. And this session also has closed captioning in English. So if you would like to use that, there's a closed captioning button along the bottom. It's the bottom right there for you as well. So feel free to give that a look. And I'll give everyone a few seconds just to orient yourself around Zoom. If this is one of your first times using Zoom, welcome. I know this looks very different than what we are used to. Yep, Chris, do I see a hands up?
You do, and I'm sorry, you were mentioning closed captioning. Normally I see it, but I don't see it. So I don't know if there's a problem. And just in case somebody wanted to use it, I thought I'd mention. I don't see the closed caption button.
Oh yeah, no problem. Thank you so much for bringing that up, Chris. I do have our captioner here. 1 second, they're just asking for one more second there. And I think they were expecting my playlist to maybe go a little bit longer. So 1 second. So Michelle, if you wouldn't mind, are you able to help with the token there?
Yes, definitely.
Perfect. So we'll just give it one more second here.
So you should have played the music longer.
I know. I apologize.
And everything.
Yeah. And I saw a lot of heads bopping along, so I think I did a good job on my sound selection. And you'd be surprised how many song choices I went through before I decided on that one there. And what I'm going to share with everyone as well is there's a special, an alternative closed captioning view. So if you use this link, I've just put it in the chat there. If you open up that window, you'll also have captioning there. So if the button at the bottom isn't working for you, feel free to access that link that I've just put there. And I'm gonna also double check to ensure it is up and running. Oh. Sorry, everyone, give me one more sec. Michelle, do you think you can work with me with the captioner on this one here?
Yes, yeah.
Sorry, everyone.
Well, I'll give everybody a chance to catch their breath anyway. I know it's been a crazy, chaotic day, and one of the joys of Zoom is it's always go, 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 and there's never quite a gap between meetings. So this isn't necessarily a bad thing.
And we hope we work through all these before your classes start so that you'll all be Zoom experts by the time you log on with your professors.
If you're noticing the chat, but there seems to be some denial of access going on as well.
Sorry, I literally just got here. I don't know what the link's for.
Yeah, no problem. If you do require closed captioning, that is an alternative view that we're working with our captioner for those students that do require that closed captioning access.
Okay.
And if everyone doesn't mind, I may play my playlist for one more minute, if that's okay. Do I see some nods? Maybe? Yeah, okay. Hi everyone, me again, Bonnie here, your host. I hope that gave you some time to chill out. I know that people have been jumping from sessions to sessions. There is an alternative closed captioning link here that I'm going to share in the chat for anyone that does require it. I've clicked on it and it has worked for me, but please let us know if it doesn't work for you at the moment. And I do apologize for the delay in getting that over to everyone. And I don't see any exclamation marks or anyone shaking their heads. So I think the link is working for everyone there. So I think this also gave time for our late joiners. Welcome again. And again, sorry for the delay. And this is your virtual AC Day 1, 15 things to do in Ottawa this September. And thank you so much for joining us. A lot of you had joined many of our programming that took place this morning. More orientation programming can be found on the website. So we're going to be putting the link in the chat now. So feel free to take a look at what is still in store to come. And mentioning again, my name is Bonnie and I'm the Special Events Officer here at Algonquin. And before we kick off this special event with Ottawa Tourism, we actually have a giveaway. We have 2 gift cards to Connections, our campus store. Now, if you want to participate, all you have to do is open up your chat box right now. And I'm going to be giving everyone the same question. Type in your answer. Don't send the response yet, and we're all going to send at the same time. And our special guest, who I'll introduce shortly, will be choosing 2 attendees who will be the winner of the gift cards. So everyone, if you haven't done so already, open up your chat box. And the question is, and it's 2 parts because if you're not from Ottawa, you can also add in another response. So the question is, where is your favorite spot in Ottawa? And if you're not from Ottawa, you can write what you are looking forward to about living in Ottawa. So again, don't press send yet. And the question is, where is your favorite spot in Ottawa? Or if you're not from Ottawa, what are you most forward looking to about living in Ottawa? So I'll give everyone a few seconds to type in your responses. And this is good. I see the fingers going. I see the concentration. So I know people are working on their answers there. Okay, so on the count of 3, we're gonna all send our answers at the same time. So here we go. 1, 2, 3, send. This is great. All of these responses. Byword Market, I used to live down there, so I know the area very well. So nice. The parks, the walking paths, Parliament Hill, Rideau Canal, bike paths, skating, Gatineau Park. I love the diversity of answers as well. I thought everyone would just be saying Parliament or parks. So it's great to see everyone's diverse responses there. So thank you everyone for sharing your answers. Our special guest joining us today from the Algonquin College executive team is Dr. Chris Jensen, who is your Senior Vice President of Academics. And he will be selecting 2 students at random who will be winning the gift cards. So Dr. Jensen, over to you. And I will also give you the opportunity to announce our winners there.
Well, thanks, Bonnie. And good afternoon, everyone. I must admit, I've gotten very out of practice at hearing myself introduced as Dr. Jensen. Typically, Algonquin's quite a bit more informal than that, but thank you for the title. It reminds me of the old days when I was a professor of chemistry for many, well, more years than I care to remember, probably more years than most of you were alive. But I am the Senior Vice President Academic. And I do admit that somebody asked me what that meant earlier today, and I was hard pressed to answer because I've got this nice, lovely job description, but as far as I can tell, the only thing that makes any sense in that job description is "and other duties as required." So, but in general, I'm in charge of everything to do with the academic programs and making sure all of that works well and that you have an amazing experience here at Algonquin. And I am delighted to welcome you today. I do see a couple of faces that I've seen earlier today. So hello again, welcome back. Nice that I haven't scared you off yet. It's a strange time of year for us this year. This is one of my favorite times of year. Really, truly welcoming new students, getting started in a new academic year is an incredible experience for us as well as it is for you. And I know that you will be delighted with the support that you get from the program staff, from coordinators, from faculty, from the registrar's office, from student services, everybody on campus. We are here because we want to be here and we want to help you succeed. And so thank you for choosing Algonquin College. We think you've made a very good choice, and we hope that you become as proud of Algonquin as I am and the rest of the team is. I've been at Algonquin for 8.5 years now. I started out as an academic chair. I was the dean of the Faculty of Technology and Trades for a number of years, as well as the dean of the School of Advanced Technology, the School of the Algonquin Center for Construction Excellence. And for this past year, I've been the Senior Vice President Academic, and I've had the privilege of working very closely with some remarkably talented, creative, dedicated, passionate people that you are all going to get to work with as well. The experience that you're going to have is going to be good, and I mean, we're all here to make sure that we live up to that statement. We're here to support you. We're looking out for your well-being on your journey. We want to make sure that even though you're virtual, you do not feel alone or isolated or unsupported. And there are many, many different supports available on campus. Those of you in this room itself, your peers will become a support network. If you feel like you have a question, if you need help, if you just want to talk to somebody, there is always going to be somebody available to help. It is a strong community, and we are delighted to have you as a part of it. But I suppose now it's the time that I get to announce the 2 lucky winners. And it was a bit of a challenge because your answers were flying past that I wasn't even able to read most of them as I was going through. And so I've chosen 2 at random, purely at random. And so I'm delighted to say that the winners are Michael Bain and a one-word name of Danica. So congratulations, Michael and Danica. You have won the gift cards. And so I suppose with that, my official duties are over. I'm going to turn it back over to Bonnie and continue with the show here. So Bonnie, over to you.
Perfect. Thank you, Chris. And Michael and Danica, I will be private messaging you in the chat there. So check out the chat when you get a chance. And thank you, Chris. This is our new norm now, and I know I'm used to seeing you face to face, and now it's Zoom all the time. So thank you so much for supporting our events virtually as well. And now our other guest of honor, I would like to introduce Julia Thompson, a representative from Ottawa Tourism, and she knows all of the hidden treasures and local gems that Ottawa has to offer. And I'm sure you've all tuned in today for her insight. So over to you, Julia.
Hi, thank you, Bonnie. Nice to see everybody, and welcome to Ottawa on behalf of Ottawa Tourism. Like Bonnie said, my name is Julia Thompson. I'm the corporate communications specialist at Ottawa Tourism, and usually I work with travel media, but I'm so happy to be chatting with you guys today. So I'm going to run through a list of 15 things to do in Ottawa. I know not everyone is in Ottawa right now, so I'll be integrating some ways to check out the city virtually, which will help out a lot of you, I hope. And then I'll be happy to answer some questions at the end. If you think of any questions, you can stick them in the chat. Or if I say anything and you're like, oh my gosh, that's my favorite place, I've been there 10 times, I love it, put that kind of stuff in the chat too, because I think that'll be helpful for everybody watching. So let's kick it off because I've got a lot to say. The first thing that I want to talk about is museums. We're so lucky as Canada's capital to have so many national museums in Ottawa, and it's a really great way to learn about the city, but also learn about the country. So as of now, all the national museums have reopened from this summer. The Canadian Museum of Nature is open Wednesdays to Fridays, and that's where you'll find dinosaurs, bug galleries, rocks and minerals. There's an Arctic gallery with real ice, which is really interesting. And they have right now a big, huge inflatable reconstruction of planet Earth hanging in their foyer, as well as a big, huge, I think like 7 meters wide, reconstruction of the moon hanging in their atrium. So those are really interesting to see, just to go see those art pieces, not mentioning all the great galleries that they have there. The Canadian Museum of History is another one that you would have to visit. This one celebrates and teaches about Canadian history. So if you're from a different part of the country, you can go here and find a little piece of home, which is really nice. It has beautiful grounds that you can walk. And the best, what I think is the best view of Parliament Hill is actually from the Canadian Museum of History grounds. So if you go to the back of the grounds and you look across the river to Ottawa, because the Museum of History is actually located just across the Ottawa River in Gatineau, Quebec, then you can see Parliament Hill, a beautiful view if you want to take some pictures. The Canadian War Museum is another must-see. This tells Canada's history through our involvement in different wars and military activity. Right now, those two museums, the Museum of History and the War Museum, they have lots of outdoor programming, and also 50 people are allowed inside the main spaces at a time. So for those ones, it's very important to book online if you'd like to go inside the museum. Next, we have the National Gallery of Canada, which is one of my favorites. It has this beautiful glassed-in atrium roof that's really cool to see, designed by Moishe Shafty, a Canadian architect. And it has a big, huge sculpture of a spider outside too called Mama. So not only is there amazing art inside, there's a new Canadian and Indigenous galleries that just opened in 2017, which is still pretty recent, but there's lots of public art outside to see too. And these four museums, Museum of Nature, History, War, and the National Gallery, traditionally they do offer free admission Thursday evenings from 5 to 8. The National Gallery has gone back to doing this. I do anticipate that the Museum of War, History, and Nature will all also go back to offering free admission. At the moment, I don't believe they do, just because they're reopening post-COVID, but keep your eye on that because free is the magic word in my mind. Another great one is the Bank of Canada Museum. They're only offering virtual programming right now, but that's a really interesting one as well. There's also three museums under the Ingenium umbrella, which is the Canada Science and Technology Museum, Canada Aviation and Space Museum, and Canada Agriculture and Food Museum. So you'll see there's really something for everyone museum-wise. These ones are great to visit, and they're open on different days, either Wednesday to Sunday, Thursday to Monday, Thursday to Sunday. Just check their schedule because all that information is up online. Finally, the Diefenbunker is a really quirky one. It's just west of Ottawa in a little town called Carp, and it's actually a underground bunker that was made during the Cold War to house the Prime Minister, Diefenbunker, and his core government group. Right now it's been converted into a museum, so you can actually go 70 feet underground and check out this Cold War era bunker, which still has all the old gadgets and all the old stuff. So that one's super interesting. And all of these places that I mentioned, they have online exhibitions available on their websites, as well as virtual walkthroughs of some of their big exhibitions, which is really cool. So you can drag and drop your way through the exhibitions and learn about the buildings and about the artifacts that are in there. So now let's move on to number 2. I know I'm only at number 2. Parliament Hill is also such a must-see in Ottawa. It's such a Canadian icon, and we're so lucky to have it at the heart of downtown. I will let you know that it is closed for visiting. It's under renovation for the next 10 years or so. This is a center block that I'm talking about, the Peace Tower, where they traditionally have the House of Commons and the Senate of Canada. Those two functions of government have moved to new spaces in the West Block of Parliament, which is also on Parliament Hill, or the Senate of Canada building, which is just steps from Parliament Hill. And eventually those spaces will also reopen to the public. Currently they're closed due to COVID-19 protocols, but they will also reopen. And those are two brand new spaces that even if you came in grade 8 for your social studies class, you haven't seen these two brand new spaces. So those are must-sees once they open again. And you can log on online to check out the virtual tours available of the center block spaces. So you can see what they look like, and you can see the plans for what they will look like eventually. And even if the spaces are closed inside for visitation, you can still access Parliament Hill from the outside. You can see the Centennial Flame, you can walk around the grounds, you can go up and touch the building, you can touch a piece of Canadian history. It's a really cool spot to go when you're out and about downtown. Another cool one is the Sound and Light Show on Parliament Hill. During normal summers, this would happen outdoor projected onto center block of Parliament Hill. It's a story about Canadian history and celebrating Canadians and Canadian identity. Now it's presented virtually, which everyone can check out. It's a really cool way to learn about Canadian history, and it's also really beautiful. It's got great animations, and it's a great video to watch. So that's another one that you've got to check out on Parliament Hill. So now I'd like to chat about neighborhoods. I saw some mention of the Byword Market as one of the favorite places to go in Ottawa, and it really is such a hub. It's the go-to place downtown. Anyone who visits Ottawa goes to the Byword Market neighborhood. It's a farmer's market. It's a shopping district. You've got cafes, restaurants, nightclubs, bars, all kinds of stores. They have a whole store for cheese, a whole store for tea. It's a really cool spot. So that's definitely a must see. And it's always got lots of people walking around. It's very, very vibrant. Elgin Street is also similar to that. It's just a little south of downtown, but still within walking distance. That's a great spot to meet up with friends. There's lots of bars, lots of cute shops. Spark Street is another really interesting one. That's a pedestrian-only street, just 1 block south of Parliament Hill. They have lots of patios right now, and one of my favorite times actually is during the winter. They put little Christmas trees along Spark Street, and they shovel it, which is important, and it looks really, really pretty in the winter time. I saw someone mention that they love Ottawa in the winter, so I know we're only September, but I'm still excited about the winter time. We also have a Chinatown in Ottawa. We have an LGBT village. The Glebe and Little Italy are really cool spots. So there's tons of little neighborhoods that are really interesting. Even if you've lived in Ottawa your whole life, I'm sure you've been to the Byword Market, but there's lots of really cool little places to check out, take an afternoon and stroll down one of these main streets. Farmers markets are also really big in Ottawa. This is my number 5. The Byword Market, of course, has a great farmers market. Traditionally, it's open about 353 days a year. I think it's only closed on Christmas Day and New Year's Day. Right now, I believe the farmers market is open Thursdays to Sundays. So just check online, make sure that they're open on the day you'd like to go. But that's a really great one to visit for fresh produce, but also for maple syrup, for Canadian gifts, for lots of great stuff to buy. The Parkdale Market is located in Wellington West, and that's another great one for seasonal produce. I think they're selling lots of strawberries right now, apples. Soon they'll be selling squashes and pumpkins. Even if you don't buy anything, it's great to just go see all the fresh produce and get inspired. The Ottawa Farmers Market happens at Lansdowne, which is a really vibrant area just south along Bank Street, about 5 kilometers from Parliament Hill. Lansdowne traditionally has our football team, soccer team. We have a new rugby team. We have a new basketball team, our OHL team, a hockey team. They're not playing right now for you to go see, but eventually it's going to re-become the great sport district that it is. And there's tons of great restaurants there and patios. I was just at the farmers market on the weekend, Sunday mornings, and there were so many people and so many dogs. So if you're a fan of dog watching, which I am, then you can go to Lansdowne and do some dog watching. I think I just made that word up. The next one is restaurants. I can't talk about all the restaurants. There's so many. I could fill a whole presentation just about restaurants. But Ottawa's food and drink scene has really blossomed over the last few years. There's so many suggestions. If you log on to our Instagram, you can see all these great restaurants. One that I'd like to suggest to you guys is called Tavern on the Hill. It's located in Majors Hill Park, which is just east of Parliament Hill, overlooking the Ottawa River, the Ottawa Locks. It's really beautiful in the evening. There's twinkly lights. There's these big umbrellas if it's during the day. And their thing is gourmet hot dogs. So you can get a drink, you can get a hot dog. It's a really fun spot. Number 7 is, of course, our famous beaver tail. This is a dessert. It's not actually a beaver tail. It's fried dough with amazing toppings on top. You can get Nutella, you can get Smarties, you can get garlic butter, but the classic is cinnamon sugar and lemon. And the original beaver tail stand is in the Byword Market, so that's definitely one to go see. It's a really cute little red roofed building. You won't miss it if you go down to the market. And those never get old. Even if you've had them skating on the canal, it never gets old. So here's the next one. I'd like to shift to outdoors now, because that's a really great way to spend your time right now, to get out, clear your head, enjoy the city. One of the first ones I'd like to talk about, my number 8, is biking and cycling. Ottawa is a really big biking city, and right now we have some major roadways that are closed for bikers on weekends, which is really cool. The Sir John A. Macdonald Parkway, running west of Ottawa, the Sir Jean Etienne Cartier Parkway running east of Ottawa, and the Queen Elizabeth Drive running south of downtown. Those are all closed for one-way traffic on Saturdays and Sundays until the end of September, to allow for bikers, rollerbladers, any kind of self-propelled thing like that, skateboarders, walkers, runners, all of that, and it's super busy. Those are really beautiful spots. We also have 800 plus kilometers of bike pathways around Ottawa, which is really amazing. They crisscross all over the city and into Gatineau. One of my favorite pathways goes along the Rideau Canal, which is a waterway that goes through downtown Ottawa. It's really beautiful. You can boat on it, you can walk along it, you can bike along it, and in the winter it freezes and it becomes the largest skating rink in the world. 7.8 kilometers of skating on the Rideau Canal in the winter. So that's really, really picturesque. You can rent skates there in the winter. I know we're only September, so bike along it, walk along it is a really beautiful spot to enjoy in all 4 seasons. If you don't have a bike, there's a company called Rent a Bike and a company called Escape Bicycle Tours located in downtown Ottawa. And for either of those, you can rent bikes or you can take biking tours. So those are really great options to get out and enjoy Ottawa on a bike. Another way to get out and see the city is e-scooters. We're really excited about these. It's a brand new pilot project that came to Ottawa, and they're ride-along electronic scooters in the downtown area. So they all operate with an app that you download on your phone, and you go around on this scooter, you park it wherever you want and just leave it. It's kind of like those scooter share programs in other cities. There are some places where you're not allowed to ride them, like the Byword Market, because there's so many pedestrians, or National Capital Commission land, which is Majors Hill Park, Confederation Park, the parkways I mentioned, just because those have a little bit more circulation on them. But all those rules are on the app, and all the parking rules and all that kind of stuff is all on the e-scooter app. But you'll definitely see people on e-scooters if you go downtown this time of year. Another great way to get outside is at Dow's Lake Pavilion. So the Rideau Canal runs through downtown Ottawa down to an area called Dow's Lake, where it opens up into more of a lake. And at Dow's Lake, there's a pavilion with some great patio restaurants, but they also rent boats, which is really cool. They rent stand-up paddle boards, paddle boats, canoes, kayaks, all kinds of things that you can go out for an afternoon with your friends or just by yourself and do a little bit of boating around the Dow's Lake area, which is really picturesque. Another great one, this is number 11, is hiking. Ottawa has lots of great hiking areas and is actually, the city is hugged by a green belt, which has a lot of protected land with trails and farmland in that area. So the green belt is a great place to go hiking and walking. And of course, Gatineau Park, just across the river in Gatineau, Quebec, is another awesome area to do some hiking. This will get really busy in the fall during the fall colors. So if you have a break on a weekday, perhaps that might be better to go than on a weekend. But all around Ottawa, there's great walking trails, great hiking trails. I saw someone earlier mention the Dominion Arboretum. This is a really beautiful piece of land park along the canal just south of Ottawa. So that's a great one to see too. I'm on to number 12 now. I'm just flying by so I can get to those Q&As. There's lots of great tours in the city too. This is another one where I can chat about tours all day. We have haunted walks, foodie tours where you walk around different neighborhoods and meet restaurant owners. We have a beer bus. We have Ottawa biplane adventures. It's less than $100 to get up in a biplane and see Ottawa from the sky. We have boat tours on the Rideau Canal, boat tours on the Ottawa River, walking tours, self-guided tours. There's so much to do tour-wise. Just check it out on the Ottawa Tourism website, which I'll show you guys at the end. There's, of course, like I said, lots of great virtual tours. All the national museums have their online exhibits and walkthroughs of the space, but there's also great virtual events that you can sign up for. The Virtual Army Run is coming up September 12th to 20th. The Ottawa Animation Festival is coming up September 23rd to October 4th. The Ottawa Writers Festival is happening right now virtually, so there's lots of great virtual events to do too. Number 14 is attractions. There's so many great attractions in Ottawa. Saunders Farm is a farm, a spooky farm that turns into like a Halloween farm during the fall. That's open right now for campfires and picnic, and their Halloween programming will happen closer to October. There's a spot called Park Omega, which is about a 40-minute drive north of Ottawa into Quebec, into a place called Montebello, and that's a Canadian drive-through safari where you'll be able to see Canadian wildlife in their natural habitat. They've got bears and wolves in enclosures, but they also have warthogs and deer and all these big animals that come right up to your car. So that's really cool too. You can feed them carrots, which is just an experience like none other to have a deer sticking his head in your car. City of Ottawa museums, there's tons of those around the city. The Ottawa Art Gallery is an art gallery right downtown in the Byword Market, totally free, which I love again. The Rideau Center, also right downtown in the Byword Market. This is our biggest shopping center and also a light rail transit station. You'll definitely be at the Rideau Center sometime, I'm sure. And Escape Manor is another one which I like. Escape rooms are really fun, but this one also offers a virtual escape room. So if you make a virtual group or you have some virtual friends you want to get together and do a virtual escape room, this one's really fun. I did it with my family and we escaped the room. We solved the crime, so pretty proud about that. So number 15, my last one before we get to Q&As, is to do all of these things, but of course to do it safely. In Ottawa, you have to wear a mask in any public enclosed place, so shopping malls, any store, any grocery store, all that kind of thing, even including shared spaces in apartment buildings. Masks are mandatory on OC Transpo, which is our bus system, as well as the light rail transit system, which runs through downtown. And also masks are mandatory on Ubers. And this is all the same in Gatineau, Quebec, also if you cross the bridge into Quebec. Ottawa Public Health has really great social media. Not only are they informative, but they're really funny and really great at delivering information. So you've got to follow them on Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, all their stuff. They're a great source of information. So my final few things is just some resources to share with you guys. I can post the links in the chat or I'll send them to Bonnie. I'm just going to share my screen now. There we go, screen number 2. You guys can all see that?
Not at the moment, Julia. Oh, there we go.
There we go. Okay, so this is the Ottawa Tourism website. This is a great place to go in any season for suggestions for what to do in Ottawa. We have an event calendar. We have an Ottawa Insider blog, which with lots of great articles, pumpkin patches, orchards, lots of cool stuff. This here is a page about what's happening in the Ottawa area. This is updated every Wednesday for the next weekend. And this is where we write about what you can do immediately right now in Ottawa, any information you need to know about that weekend. And the best thing about this one is you can sign up to receive this on by an email. So this can come straight to your inbox every week. We have awesome social media. This is our Twitter. This is our Facebook. And this is our Instagram, which is one of my favorites. I'm a really visual person, so these are great ones to follow. Even if you're not in Ottawa, you can still follow us and put all these things on your bucket list. Check out all the great stuff there is to do. And wherever you are, hashtag MyOttawa or hashtag MonOttawa to become part of the Ottawa conversation. And our social team might see it and maybe repost some of your pictures. So thank you guys so much. This was awesome. I know I gave you so much information overload. I didn't get a chance to look at the chat, but maybe I'll just go through and see if there's any questions that I can answer.
Hi, Julia. Bonnie here. I can help facilitate that as well, because I know there was lots of great comments and questions coming in through the chat. And for everyone's reference, I've just put in the Ottawa Tourism website there in the chat. Feel free to go to it. And when you scroll down to the bottom left, all of those social pages that Julia had shared are listed there as well. So feel free to follow the Instagram, the Twitter, and like Julia mentioned, lots of great stuff going on there. So Julia, one question that had come up previously was, do you have any suggestion for great photography spots?
Yes, definitely. We do have lists on our website of great places to photograph in every season, summer, fall, winter, spring. Some of my favorites, Bank Street and the Glebe are really cool neighborhoods, and they have some really interesting murals and street art. There's a shop called Little Victory's Coffee, and one of the murals that comes to mind is a nesting doll mural right next to that, and that one's just so interesting. I also saw last time I was there, they have a van painted like the Scooby-Doo Mystery Machine. So there's lots of interesting stuff to find in the Glebe neighborhood. That's a really cool one. The Byword Market also has some great public art that would be great to take some photos of. But also along the Ottawa River, just a little bit west on the Sir John A. Macdonald Parkway, there's an area called Remick Rapids. And this is when you're going along the parkway, you just turn off into a parking lot called Remick Rapids. If you look that up on Google, it will take you there. And here there's a man named John Felice Cipriano who does rock sculptures. They're balanced rock sculptures. And he works all summer on these sculptures. He'll probably be there if you go on a weekend. And it's this amazing, expansive area of all his rock sculptures that are absolutely beautiful. And you look at them and you're like, how is that big rock bouncing on that little rock? It's super interesting. And there's some really amazing photographs that you can get in that spot.
Awesome. I learned some great tips as well. So thank you for that. And some people were wondering, is there like a calendar of events that Ottawa Tourism currently has that with everything that's happening in the city, whether it's in person or virtual or anything like that?
Yes, definitely. We have an event calendar on our website. If you go to the homepage, you'll be able to see it there, but I can also share the link in the chat. I'll do that now. Here we go.
Perfect. So stay tuned for that link from Julia in the chat there. And another question that's come through is there any local hobby shops that you know of or would recommend? And this person has definitely demonstrated that they want to try and support local as best as they can.
Yeah, for sure. One of my favorite local shops is called Maker House. It's in the Wellington West neighborhood on Wellington West Street, and they have everything is made in Canada, and I think 60% of everything is made in Ottawa. They have tons of gifts, soaps, blankets, wall art, postcards, cards, all kinds of stuff. That's one of my favorites. In the Byword Market, there's also tons of little shops. One that comes to mind is called Milk Shop, and they have great clothes from Canadian designers, as well as jewelry and cards and things like that. The Byword Market and those little neighborhoods, the Glebe, Bank Street, Wellington West, those all have lots of great shops if you're looking to support local.
Perfect. Thanks for the recommendations, Julia. And one of the other questions that had come forth was about the scooters that you mentioned, and know that they are everywhere right now, especially I live on Elgin, so I see them quite often. And the person had asked, is there a charge or how does the scooters work? And to my knowledge, I believe there is a charge, but if there's any insider info that you could share, that would be great.
Yeah, I know there's a few different companies that run the scooters. So it might differ from company to company, but it's all smartphone based. I think they can also scan your credit card. So I think you either need your smartphone with your Apple Pay or credit card linked to it, or a credit card. And it is based on either the time or the distance traveled. So there is a charge for it, but it'll be less of a charge if you scoot for less time and more of a charge if you go around for more time.
Perfect, thanks. And there were some questions about the list that you just shared. And I wanted to let everyone know that this is recorded. The session is recorded, and the video will be posted on the orientation website. So if there was anything you missed, feel free to go back to the website and check out the video there to just go through all those details that Julia had shared, and just give it a day or two or so for our team to, get that video up there. And I'm just going to go back to the chat here because I see, are they doing any virtual haunted walks? Do you know of, Julia?
Virtual haunted walks. I think they have some virtual events planned. Right now, I know they're doing bubble tours for haunted walks. So you can go and do, I actually did one on the weekend where you go with 2 other bubbles. If your bubble is 1 person or if your bubble is 5 people, it doesn't matter. There's only 3 bubbles per tour, so you can have adequate room to social distance. They do have books that you can read. They have Haunted Ottawa and Haunted Canada that you can get from the Haunted Walk website. So I'm a big reader. Those are on my reading list to learn the haunted history of Ottawa past what I saw this weekend on my tour. So those are really good ones.
Great. And do you know where any of our students can join bike tours?
Yes, there's Escape Bicycle Tours and Rent a Bike, which are both located right downtown. Escape Bicycle is located on the corner of Spark Street and Elgin Street, and Rent a Bike is located at the Canal level, just next to the Westin Ottawa Hotel. So they're both super central downtown, and both of them offer bike tours. Escape Bicycle Tours offers tours from 2 hours to, I think, 5 hours. They've got a really extensive tour list. They have one bike tour on Sundays that goes to the Ottawa Farmers Market at Lansdowne. It's called Bike and Bites. So you can get kind of the best of both worlds. If you're looking to do a foodie tour and a biking tour, that's probably the one I'd recommend.
Great. And I must say that even you're able to remember the intersection where some of these businesses are located. So that's awesome. Another question that has come forward is, do you have any suggestions for good halal food places? And I guess I'll tack on to that. If someone was looking for, a specific cuisine, do you have any suggestions how our students can find more information?
Yeah, the Ottawa Tourism website has tons of great information. I will admit I'm not up to date on the best halal food restaurants in Ottawa. Maybe if there is anyone who is, you can help me out and comment in the comment box. Ottawa Tourism does have lots of suggestions for like brunch spots, lunch spots, pizza, taco, that kind of thing. One of my favorites, which is really interesting, is Ottawa's actually really well known for their shawarma and their Lebanese food. I'm a vegetarian, so I love the falafel. There's King of Shawarma and Shawarma Prince downtown. Lots of really good falafel and shawarma places downtown. If you're looking for some kind of tasty dinner to try out, that's one that I would recommend.
Perfect. And I know earlier on there was a question just about the LGBT village. Is there any details that you could share just for any of our students there that might not be quite sure what the village is?
Yeah, for sure. And we just had our Capital Pride Festival, which was really fun. Annually, there's a festival which is really cool down Bank Street. There is in the village. It has the signs, the LGBTQ signs. It's also called Rainbow Village, I think. Lots of rainbow flags everywhere. And I saw a question, is this where lots of LGBTQ people live? I'm not sure if that's the case, but there are different events that take place around Bank Street here. There's also a virtual walking tour that you can do of the village that tells Canada and Ottawa's LGBTQ history as you're walking along Bank Street from Parliament Hill south. So I'll try to find that one and put that in the link, but it takes you along to different places on Bank Street and explains the history of LGBTQ people in Ottawa.
Thanks, Julia. And I'm seeing a lot of great comments just about from anything from fudge to Obama's cookies. There's a lot of great recommendations that our students are also sharing with each other, which is awesome. We still do have 10 more minutes in this session. So if anyone has any questions that you'd like to ask Julia now, just about the city, feel free to enter it in. The time is yours. And I know that we were a little bit late again starting, so I do apologize for that there. And Julia has put in that extra link there in the chat for all of you as well.
Yeah, I'll just take a look through the questions here. Thank you. I saw burgers and fries forever. Central Bergham are really good for halal. So thank you for helping me out with that one. See some questions about skiing and snowboarding. Those are awesome ones. There's lots of ski hills near Ottawa, actually. There's Pakenham Ski Hill, Edelweiss, Camp Fortune, and those are all within about half an hour or so of Algonquin. So those would be great ones. But there's also a lot of cross-country skiing in Ottawa. Along the Sir John A. Macdonald Parkway, there's a shipping container that gets set up where you can go and rent cross-country skis and then ski along the Sir John A. Macdonald Winter Trail, which is really cool, right on the Ottawa River. It's super picturesque. Gatineau Park is also a big one for cross-country skiing, and also something called fat biking, which is where you bike on a winter bike with a tire that's about this big. It looks really weird, but you'll definitely see people in Ottawa doing it. It's a really great workout and a cool way to go out and get biking in the winter. That's how crazy about winter we are in Ottawa. We even bike in the winter.
Great. And talking about winter, I see some more questions have come through. And skating on the canal, what date does that normally start?
Yeah, it's different every year, totally weather dependent. Last year it started in December. I want to say that sometime between Christmas and New Year's, and it lasted until maybe early March, maybe end of February. But in other years, it can start as early December or as late as mid-January. It just kind of depends with the temperature. But no matter what, we do have some refrigerated ice skating rinks in and around downtown Ottawa. There's one at Rideau Hall, which is the Governor General's residence, which is really nice. It has a winter pavilion too, which with a warmed area that you can put on your skates. There's the Sens Rink of Dreams outside of Ottawa City Hall, and they have skate rental and beaver tails, which is definitely a plus. And then there's also refrigerated skating rink at Lansdowne, which I mentioned before too. And this one is a little smaller, but more intimate and definitely really cool. And there's also tons of neighborhood rinks. If you have your skates, there's lots around Algonquin, but otherwise the ones I mentioned do all rent skates.
Perfect. And for the skating on the canal, is there somewhere where our students can refer to, like, oh, it's begun skating on the canal? Is there like a website or anything that gives live updates about the canal?
Yep, definitely. I think it's called rideaucanal.ca, but I'll find that and put it in. But I think you'll hear about it. We have like the morning traffic report. We also have the morning Rideau Canal report when it becomes that season, saying this section of the canal is good to skate, this section is closed, this section is excellent condition, this section is poor condition. So the Rideau Canal website, it has a map with different flags to show what kind of condition the ice is in, because it is natural. So some of the ice does get bumpy. But it is flooded every night to try to keep it as good as possible. So you can check that website to see visually what parts are good, but also Ottawa Tourism, social media, listen to the radio, you'll see online too.
Perfect. And another question that's come in is, what places or activities in Ottawa do you recommend for kids?
For kids.
And Julia, I think I found the website for the canal, so I can share that in the link.
Perfect. Yeah, it says right now the skateway is closed, so it's up to date. For kids, I would say the museums are a really cool one. I've taken kids to the Museum of Nature before, the Canadian Museum of Nature, and they love the dinosaurs. It's also really fun to go to the Canada Agriculture and Food Museum. This is actually a working farm located close to the downtown area, actually between Algonquin and downtown. And they can meet sheep, goats, llamas, chickens, cows. They could see a whole bunch of different farm animals and learn about them. And it's also interactive, which is always really fun for kids.
Perfect. And we have about 5 more minutes, so I think we have time for maybe 1 or 2 more questions. So don't be shy. If there's any burning Ottawa tourism questions, feel free to put them in the chat. And all of the info that you've shared is super useful. I've definitely learned a few spots, so I'm sure that I'll see a lot of Algonquin students at a lot of those places that you just recommended.
Good, yeah.
I'll give it a couple of seconds or so. And again, if anyone wanted more information about Ottawa tourism, oh, here's another question. Any caves or mines in Ottawa we can visit?
Yes, there are a few that you can go to. The one that comes to mind is called Lusk Falls or Lusk Cave. That's located in Gatineau Park. Gatineau Park is actually quite big. You can drive for about 3 hours north and still be in Gatineau Park in Gatineau. Lusk Cave is on a hiking trail that's about 5 or 8 kilometers. It's a difficult hiking trail, but you can go, and part of the trail is actually to go inside this cave. So that's a really cool one. And the story about that one is that once a family was doing their hike, they went out of the cave and then they were kind of collecting themselves afterwards, and the kids were like, oh, that's so fun. And then they look, and who's the next person to come out of the cave? It's Justin Trudeau and his family. So you never know who you'll see hiking in Gatineau Park.
That's funny. Last weekend at the McDonald's on Elgin, I saw our Mayor Jim Watson in the McDonald's there on Elgin. So you really don't know when you might run into someone there. And there's a few more questions. So are there any karaoke bars? I'm not sure if they're open at the moment.
Yeah, I'm not sure which ones are open or not, but there are definitely karaoke bars downtown. There's one, I'm just having a look here. There's also a bunch of restaurants that aren't necessarily karaoke bars, but do karaoke. There's one called the Lookout Bar, and they have karaoke, which is really fun. There's also, I think, a few on Elgin that turn into karaoke bars on certain nights of the week. I think there's an Ottawa Tourism article about karaoke, which I'll try to find and send that to you.
Okay, perfect. And I think this will be the last question that I'm taking for today. And is there any classes or clubs for things like dancing or kickboxing, or I guess any, active activities that our students can refer to?
Yeah, I'm sure Algonquin College has a lot of great clubs that you can try out. But if you want to look a bit further afield, there's the Ottawa Sport and Social Club is a really great resource. They have dodgeball teams, softball teams, lots of sporting opportunities, but they'd also be a great resource for those kinds of classes. I also know that the City of Ottawa does tons of classes throughout the year, anything from kickboxing to dancing to pottery to really whatever you can think of. The City of Ottawa probably offers it at one of their facilities around the city. So the City of Ottawa is another great resource.
Awesome. And Julia, it's quickly turned to 3 o'clock, and thank you so much for joining us on AC Day 1, Julia. I know this session has been super informative for me and the students, and it's just a great little tidbit to start off the fall term. So thank you for all the recommendations, and thank you to all our students for all those questions, because we want to get you guys active. We want to share great spots with you, great activities. So thank you so much for joining the session. Thank you, Julia. And to our gift card winners, we'll be in touch with you very soon. I got your emails there. So thank you so much for joining in, everyone, today. And we still have a few AC Day 1 programming scheduled. So take a look at the orientation website if you are looking for a few more activities to join this afternoon. And as mentioned, this session will also be posted on the orientation website in a few days so that you can refer for some amazing 15 things to do in Ottawa. So thanks again, Julia, and thank you to all of our students, and hope to see all of you in other programming in the afternoon.
Thank you. Thanks, guys.
Bye, everyone. And I'll give everyone a minute or so to log off, and then I'll be ending the session here.
Thanks, Bonnie. Let me know if you need anything.
Perfect. Thanks again, Julia.
Okay, bye.
Bye.